committee? Oh, y'all know we got a committee, right? Committee. Committee. You in the committee? You ain't in the committee. My dog in the committee. Committee right here. Committee right here. Oh, we got one more committee member over here. Working hard. With his head down in the book. Yes, sir. I got it. He gonna dress this whole thing up, build a whole set.
Oh man, don't do me that.
Every month we gonna have a new set. Yep. That's lit though. Yes, sir. Yeah, nah, legit. He could build any set. Oh, you seen that shit? Oh yeah. Bruh. It's major. Yep, that's yours. Gotta be. Alright, so we're gonna get this thing going.
All right.
Once again, appreciate you guys coming out. Choose to create. You know what I mean? Got the whole crew in here. Seems like it's whole family. It's family here right now. You know, which is beautiful. So today, we definitely got my brother Mark coming through. Gonna be bringing a lot of value to us. Yeah, I've been knowing bro for 2 years now.
Yeah, 2 years. I think it's 2 years. Yeah.
Been 2 years now, and as far as growth, a lot of times like being focused on business all the time, that's like really all we do is just work all day. So having someone to like talk about, you know, things outside of work, personal stuff, or keep you focused is always important. So at least I didn't know how important it was, but when I connected with Mark, I was able to see the value in that. So yeah, definitely, man. So as we get this thing started, I do want to let you guys know we do have a committee. Got some committee members in the building, and we're starting a committee. So anybody that's interested in doing the committee or joining the committee in any kind of way, it's only a 4-hour commitment every month. But yeah, y'all let me know. But I don't want to hold you guys up, so I do appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out with us for real. So I do want to start it off with like intentions. Basically, you know, state your name and state what you want to get from tonight. You know, kind of just think about your intentions on what you want to learn or what you want to get from tonight's session. And let's get it. So I'm gonna start it off. I'm RJD, Content Factory Media Group, and what I want to get from tonight's session is a tool, an insight, something that I could use in my daily life tomorrow.
Can I switch it up a little bit?
Yeah.
Can we do that at the end?
At the end? Okay.
Because I'm curious to see what sticks out to people,
Okay.
including you.
All right, cool. So today, of course, we're gonna switch it up from requests from the one and only. This is the first time we ever switched this thing up, so you know, had to be definitely, you know what I mean, a good call. So I don't want to hold you guys up. We're gonna let Mark go ahead and take off.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you. All right, I've done visualize like 1,500 times not to be nervous, and it seems to be working because I'm fine, all right? But today we're gonna talk about taking quantum leaps, right? Quantum leap defined by Google, right? A huge and often sudden increase in or advance in something. So like a huge or often sudden increase or advance in something. And I like the word sudden, right? Because that's what I love about, who here like believes in the law of attraction and like things like that? All right, we got 2 people, 3 people. Okay, so most people here, right? So the thing that I love about manifesting is that sudden word, like sudden increase, right? A lot of people like to use the word manifesting, and they're not manifesting, they're just working, right? It's not manifesting a peanut butter and jelly sandwich when you go in the kitchen and you get the bread and you put on the peanut butter and then you put on the jelly and then you put it together and then you say, I manifested a peanut butter. That's not manifesting. You made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? When you manifest a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you sitting on your couch or you walk into work and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich hit you in the side of your head. That's manifesting, right? It comes out of nowhere. It's a sudden. And that's what I like about manifesting. Like, it's not necessarily having to get things right away. It's the suddenly that I like, because it reminds me that there's magic in this world, you know? 1 + 1 is not always equal to 2. 1 + 1 could equal 27, you know? And I like that. I like that to mix things up and not always feel like you're just always grinding and grinding and then something happens. You grind and something like. I like the mystery, the magic, the spontaneity. I like to know that life is working with me and it's not just me alone grinding all the time. You know, so this is why I started looking into like quantum leaps and how to make a quantum leap, because I connect manifesting with quantum leaps. Now, manifesting is not always a quantum leap, because you can manifest like a coffee, you know, or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's not a quantum leap. But when you manifest your desire, your deep desire, that is usually a quantum leap, because your deep desire is usually something that I believe God, life, the universe has put inside of you because it wants you to become a new person. Like, God is not concerned with you becoming a millionaire, right? But God is concerned with the person you had to become to expand enough to create millions of dollars, right? To be that person, you know? To be that person that is able to help how many other people you want to help, homeless people, or if you want to have a career and get to the top of the charts, to become that confident person that can do that, you know? That's what I believe God is here for, is to help you. You know, back in the day, I'm a little old. I don't know if y'all know this, but in Looney Tunes, they always used to have like somebody sitting on a donkey, and they'd have a stick with a carrot dangling over it, and they would put it in front of the donkey, and that's how you get the donkey to move, because it'd be following the carrot, right? But the carrot was always right there. It was only a few inches away from the donkey the whole time. But the reason why, but even though it was only a few things the whole time, it kept the donkey moving, right? And then by the time they got to the destination, they would take the carrot off and give it to the donkey. That's how I feel like God uses our dreams, right? That desire that you have, that dream that you have, it really can happen right now. But a lot of times it doesn't happen right now, because God is trying to help you to become the person that you need to be, that God wants you to be. And that's why that dream was in you in the first place, is to help you expand. You know, that's what I believe this is about. So I have 6 principles that I've come to a conclusion of for making quantum leaps in our life, you know. And the first one is living in the end, right? So before I get into that, though, I want to just say that, you know, a quantum leap comes from a quantum leap on the inside, right? So anytime you make a quantum leap on the outside, it's because you made a quantum leap on the inside. When somebody, let's say somebody wants to, like, let's say somebody's like 500 pounds, right? And they want to get like fit and a 6-pack and all this stuff. That person has to become a different person on the inside, right? They have to be a different person on the inside to get that different result on the outside. And so when that person becomes that new person on the inside, they make a quantum leap. And then the quantum leap in eventually shows up as a quantum leap on the outside, right? So I was watching this one video when I was trying to get motivation to lose weight. And there's this guy, and he was like 500 pounds, right? And he said, and he ended up losing like 250 pounds or something like that in a couple years. And he has a 6-pack. He could like do all these yoga moves. He's so flexible. He's like a whole different person, right? And he was telling this story, and he started off, now he does all this crazy exercise routine, right? But he started off walking from his bed to the kitchen. That's all he could do, right? He started off walking from his bed to the kitchen, and that's how he began. So now I asked myself, when did this person become fit? Did he become fit when he lost 20 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds? Like, when did he become fit? Like, what arbitrary number did he become fit? He became fit the day he decided that he was a fit person, and he was walking from that thing to there, right? So when he decided he was walking from his bed to his kitchen, he was a fit person. And as long as he remained that fit person and did the best he could as that fit person, that was the best he could, right? That was the best he could do, was from the bed to the kitchen. But as he kept being that same person every day, in and out, I'm this fit person, I'm this fit person, I'm this fit person, his fitness grew. And then he's able to do crazy things in a year, in 6 months, in a year, in 2 years. But nothing changed inside of him. He was the same person. The same person that walked from the kitchen to the bed is the same person that has him doing yoga on national TV now, right? It's the same person. So one of the number one things in the quantum leap is being a new person, right? When you are a new person, you have a quantum leap. So this number 1 and number 2 is kind of mixed up. So number 1 is living in the end. When you live in the end is when you have a visualization, when you visualize or affirm your dream. So you have to know what you want. That's number one. When I work with my clients, number one is always, what do you want? Because most people are always focused on what they don't want. I don't want to be broke no more. I don't want to be tired anymore. I don't want to deal with these people no more. Or I don't like this. I don't like that. What do you like? What do you want? Who do you want to work with? What do you actually want? You have to become clear on what you want. Once you become clear on what you want, you have to understand that your attention, wherever your attention goes, energy flows, right? Wherever your attention is what you're going to start attracting to you and what you're going to be starting to be drawn to. And that's also where your intuition is starting. Intuition is like a bullseye. Wherever you put your focus, intuition starts working. So if you are, if you like to steal cars, and you think about that all damn day, you're gonna get inspired actions on how to steal cars, and you're gonna get good at it, because your intuition is gonna start working. Intuition does not care what you're focused on, but it will start to help you in whatever you're focused on. So this is why you have to be clear and focus on what you do want. So once you get clear and focus on what you do want, you want to make it into like a visual scene. Like I have this one guy that I coach, and he's very, he sees things visually all the time. Anytime I explain something to him, he always has a picture or image in his head. That's a good person for visualization. Some people love to write, RJ loves to write, He would be a perfect person for scripting, You can write out, instead of visualizing your entire desire, you can write it out as a story, as if it's already happening. And I did that with a client, and she was so insecure, and she wanted to be more confident and some other things, right? And she felt like this was not who she was. She was like, I can never be that. And I told her that, all a person is what you're thinking and what you're seeing in your mind. We always have some kind of imagery going on. It might not be crystal clear, but we always have some kind of imagery. And that makes up who you are. The way you think, what you see, and how you feel. And that makes up what you are. And what you think creates how you feel. What you see creates how you feel. So if you change what you are thinking and what you are feeling, then you're going to be a new person. That's all it takes to be a new person, to have a different story running through your head. So I helped her to write. First I asked her, what do you want, right? And she wrote out exactly what she wanted. And then we changed it from what she wanted to this is who I am. So all the things, like I want to be more confident, I want to this thing, and then we change it to I am more confident, I am this, I am that, and then have her recite that every day, right? Write it down, or repeat it every day, or read it every day, and in 2 weeks, she already felt like she was that person. In the first week, as she was doing it, she started getting different results, because a different person creates different results, right? You can't be a different person and have the same results. If either one of us woke up tomorrow and Elon Musk was in our body, by the end of the month, our life would be totally dramatically changed. It would not be the same life anymore, because you have a whole different person inside your body thinking entirely different, right? So new personality creates new results. And so in the first week, she started getting new results, but she didn't feel it yet, because emotions are always last to enter, right? Like when you're doing something, when you get an emotion, when you feel an emotion, that emotion there's a lag time. So you've been thinking about something for a while, and then the emotion catches up. So let's say you've been thinking something like, man, I'm so tired of this shit, blah, 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 and you're getting all mad, and you've been thinking those thoughts, and now you start feeling in your body, right? You start getting that emotion. Now you're like, okay, I gotta calm down. I mean, breathe and relax. It's okay, it's all right, everything's gonna work out. You're still angry, but you're being a new person, right? You're saying different things, and it's gonna take time, but as I keep saying this, you're gonna calm down, and the body's gonna come to meet what you're saying now, right? The new person. So once you start understanding these things, then you start understanding how to control your emotions. Your emotions are controlled by your thoughts, right? And according to Anthony Robbins, your physiology, right? So if I say to you guys right now, like, what does a depressed person look like? Like if somebody's being depressed, can anybody tell me how they would be holding themselves, like body-wise?
Bad posture.
Bad posture.
Looking down.
Looking down.
Maybe, like scowling or
Scowling. It was so. Yep, exactly. Right. So the posture is a big influence to how you feel. Right. So Anthony Robbins talks about that all the time. Like you ever heard of that Superman pose? Like you stand like this, you look up, bro. It's silly, but if you do it, you do feel better. It's crazy. You stand like this for a little bit, people gonna think you're crazy, but you're gonna feel better. Like it's physiology makes a big difference. If you're hunched over like this and you're like this, you're gonna start to feel like that. If you stand like this, brush yourself off, and you like this, you're gonna start feeling like that too. So physiology makes a big difference in how you feel. The thoughts that's going through your mind and the imaginations that's going through your mind make a big difference in how you feel. But remember, it always needs time to catch up. So that's the number 2, right? When you are a new person, you make quantum leaps. The more thoroughly you are that new person, the more thoroughly the quantum leap. That's why, and the bigger the quantum leap. So that's why I like to say, I love to use fitness as it, because you can see like my stomach is going down. It's not all the way there yet, but I'm getting it there, right? But I'm always thinking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? If I woke up today, like in the Matrix, I can download shit. If I can download Arnold Schwarzenegger's consciousness right into mine, right? And from now on, all I'm thinking is what Arnold Schwarzenegger thinks. It's not gonna be 3 months before I'm like looking like a whole new damn person, you know? Because I am thinking like him now, right? And that's the thing, we don't need the Matrix to do that. We just have to practice. So like the same girl that I was talking about that felt more confident, things like that, I sent her an audio of affirmations from this lady, Louise Hayes. And Louise Hayes talks very loving and confident in her affirmations. And when she listened to that, when she listened to those affirmations over and over and over, she was able to understand what a loving and confident person sounds like in their head. Because that's part of the problem with being a new person. A lot of times you don't know how to be that new person, right? So when I used to suffer horribly from anxieties, I didn't know what peace sounded like in my head, right? I didn't know what a peaceful person, like what is a peaceful conversation? So I had to start researching that and studying like what does peace even sound like, you know? And so now I can tell if somebody may be feeling stressed out because I know what the conversation, I know what the self-talk is, right? So I have the self-talk in myself that I know that once I have this peaceful self-talk, I'm gonna have peace in my body, right? And so, and sometimes something will happen and it'll trigger you and you feel stressed out. But if I go back into that peaceful way of being, that talking, that imagery, that way I hold myself, then eventually peace will catch up within me, you know? And so once you learn that, it gives you a lot of comfort because then you know that you have some control, right? And a lot of times we don't think we have any controls over our emotions because it doesn't happen immediately, right? Like we're in some kind of state and we're trying to change it and it doesn't change immediately, so we feel kind of helpless to our emotions sometimes. But the truth is that it just takes time to catch up. If you are being a peaceful person right now, peace will catch up. If you're being a relaxed person, relaxation will catch up. If you're being angry, anger is going to catch up. But just know your emotions are there's always a lag time, so you never want to listen to them. They are the results of past ways of being. They're in the past. What you're going to get in the future is how you're being right now, regardless of how you're feeling, right? So I just want to say some books for, because this is going to be on my YouTube also. So if you're interested in trying to figure out like new ways of being, some good books would be Louise Hayes, You Can Heal Your Life. She's a really good book to help you to learn affirmations and things like that. Tony Robbins has really good books. I can't remember, one of his first books is, I can't remember, but Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within. Is that the thing? I think. Yeah, that's it. Unleash the Power Within. That's a good one to learn a new way of being. And also, being a new way of being, a good way to become a new person is immersion, right? We think differently, we image differently, and that leads to different actions, but immersion is one of the best ways to do that, changing your environment. And I have a story about that. When I was doing real estate for like a year, I was wanting to try it out and see how it felt. And when I went to one of these meetings, one of these trainings, and there was this old realtor there that doing it for like 20 years, and he was very successful. He's a millionaire now. And he's telling everybody like, look, you're not going to be successful your first year. It's just not going to happen. He's like, it took me a couple years before I even sold my first house, and it was like $200,000. He's like, a lot of people fall out of this industry really quickly because they expect these fast results. But he's like, it's really hard, it's very competitive, it's not gonna happen. So I didn't listen to that because I manifest shit. So I was like, I'm a different person, right? I'm gonna create something different. So the first thing that I felt inspired to do was to start going to wealthy neighborhoods because I wanted to sell wealthy houses, right? Changing my environment, right? So I used to go into these I found these really wealthy neighborhoods in Fort Lauderdale that I liked, and I would go just drive around. And as I started driving around, then I realized they had open houses. So then I would go into open houses, just waiting, ready for somebody to kick my ass out. I thought they was gonna figure me out, like figure what out. I was a realtor, but that's why I felt like a fraud, you know, like, damn, they're gonna be like, what the hell are you doing here? You know you can't afford it. You don't got no damn clients, but nobody ever said anything. And I'm walking around $5 million houses, $8 million houses, never had that type of experience before, you know? And I'm nervous as hell. But what I was doing is I was changing my environment. I was immersing myself in what I wanted to be, right? And as I kept doing that over and over, it started becoming normal and natural. Then I started having some of the coffee there, you know, and taking some of the snacks. I was comfortable, you know, talking to the realtors, learning the lingo, how they talk and stuff like that. And to make a long story short, I ended up selling a house that year for $700,000. And I almost got a deal for $1.3 million on a commercial property, right? And that's because of immersion, quantum leaps. Immersion will create quantum leaps. So Virgil tells a story about that too, because sometimes you don't even have to be like immersed in it to change. Sometimes you're just in the wrong environment. Virgil from Louis Vuitton, who died, he said that if you take a can, if there's a shiny tin can, crushed, right, and it's exactly. He said if that can is in the trash, it's trash. But if you take that and put it in the middle of a nice museum, now it's art, right? And that happens a lot. Sometimes if you just change your environment, like before when I was an entrepreneur around my old friends, I was crazy. When I was an entrepreneur around these people, I'm amazing, you know? Quantum leap, right? Just from changing my environment, right? So knowing that changing your environment, inside, thinking, imagination, and also on the outside can give you quantum leaps. And so, and the first one, we went over the visualization stuff, but I didn't talk about vision boards. Vision boards are also great. Issa Rae, you have one?
I'm sorry to disturb.
No, I want to do this. RJ says talk, yeah.
Finish, please.
No, go ahead.
I'm right in the middle of one now.
Yeah?
But I have to find more magazines and articles to put in it.
Dope.
So I haven't glued it yet. So it's on the board, but it's not glued.
Well, Myra just told me something amazing, and you might want to try this on anybody. She has a book, like a big sketchbook with blank pages, and she puts a vision board in the book, which is dope because now you can write in the book, you can flip through it like an album, you know. But I have a board like you.
Yeah, I like to see it. So for me, it's just like you see it when you come into a space, especially.
Oh yeah, it's right there.
It's right there. So you're not taking up a book. Not to say it is a bad idea. It's
Yeah.
just for me, it's so convenient.
Yeah, that
so
works
I
for
could
you.
Actually, like, even if you have two, so you just have it. You just have
Yeah.
to have enough space on your wall to do it. But
Yeah.
That's just weird for me.
That's
to
dope,
see what
man.
I'm doing.
Just make sure everything on there means something to you.
That's the reason why I do it. It's cut out specifically for
Yeah.
something I'm trying to achieve
Yeah.
this year or in the future.
Yeah.
So it's just like before. That's why I know if you notice, if you do vision boards enough, they tend to get better. Like
Yeah.
those experiences.
Yeah.
Now, who do I want to become?
Yeah.
You start cutting out individuals of what they do, and then you start seeing the difference. And I noticed that when I was doing the second board, I was like, okay, I went to this place, and it actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I put small. I'm taking away.
No, go ahead. This is what we're here
put
for.
out A golf with Tiger Woods in the sun,
Yeah.
but I met these guys through the golf course.
Oh, look at
last
that.
year,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize it until I was talking to one of my students. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I realized it. So now I was like, okay, now this thing really works. So,
Yeah, man.
So
It works
it's kind of
amazingly.
like a like you mentioned,
Quantum leap, exactly. And that's what we want, and it's magical, right? It's like you didn't even you didn't try to make that happen, you know? It just happened, and that's what I love about it. Like we don't want to skip life. When I say quantum leaps, it's not about skipping the in between of life. because then we got a click situation. You ever seen Click with Adam Sandler? We don't want that, right? We want to enjoy the journey. The quantum leaps is not to skip life. The quantum leap is to add magic to life, effortlessness to life, more ease to life, you know, because that ease, that effortlessness makes you feel good, you know, makes you feel more appreciative to life. So the vision board, Issa Rae, did you guys ever see that when Issa Rae put the vision board on her, I think it was last year, on her Instagram, and she was like, this is my vision board before I blew. And it was all the stuff that was going on in her life now. It was crazy, right? And there was another musician, I can't remember, and he see him scripting, because scripting is very powerful, man. And scripting is just, like I said, you can write out the story of who you are and read it every day, or you can just write out like a statement, you know, affirmation, just over and over and over and fill a page. There's a musician, he wrote out his affirmations on the whole page, and it was, I sold out an arena before he blew. And then he showed it on his Instagram. He's like, look, all these pages of me writing that I sold out an arena, and I just sold out my first arena, you know? So scripting, man, scripting is powerful. Visualization is powerful. Vision board, these are just all ways to help you focus on what you do want, right? But the thing is that when you visualize, when you script, when you do all these things, remember to still be the new person, right? That's why 1 and 2 is so closely matched, because when you see the new person, when you live in that end, as I'm this new person, and it's very important to get to a feeling of gratitude. When you're visualizing, when you get to a feeling of gratitude, that means that you're there. If you don't feel like some kind of gratitude or joy or something like that, you're not there, right? You're just looking at it. You have to feel that. And once you get there, now you're there. And once you get out that, it's like, don't be like them people at church that be in church and they, hallelujah, praise Jesus, peace on earth. And then they get to the parking lot and they start cussing everybody out, right? That's going to negate the whole thing, right? So when you visualize, you come out that visualization, you need to be clear of who that person is that was in that vision, right? So when you come out that visualization, you say, okay, now who's that person that was living in that place? And you get clear on that and you write that out. And then you start living as that person to the best of your ability in the in-between of your visualizations, right? And for living in the end, if you want a book about that or anything like that, you can, The Secret is a good book. Neville Goddard is another good teacher. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's more scientific, but he's really good if you want to get into stuff like that. I want to give you an example of visualization, how it worked for me. Well, you guys know that group LMFAO? Yeah, shots. So do you know they're big believer in The Secret, and that's how they gave The Secret the credit for how they blew up. So what they did is when they saw The Secret, they wanted to be, you know, rock stars, and so they decided what would we want, and so they made a song called "I'm in Miami, Bitch." You know that song? They made that song before they went to Miami. Everything that they made in that song is what they wanted to do, right? And then that song got them blown up and taken to the MTV Music Awards, which was in Miami. And then they said they did everything in the damn song. I listened to that song back then because I wanted to know what the hell they did. I don't remember now. But yeah, that song took them there. And the interviewer was like, are you fucking with us? They're like, nah, it's true. But it's endless, man. It's endless. If you look it up, musicians, Jay-Z, what's his name? There's boxers, fighters, businessmen. Everybody's talking about visualization now, how it worked for them and things like that. When I started doing this, like a little over a decade ago, like 13, 14 years ago, nobody was talking about it. Only hippie people was talking about it, you know? So I was looking crazy, right? I was looking crazy, especially in Brooklyn, I was looking crazy, you know? It's talking about it, and then you have people like, powerful people like Ray Dalio, huge billionaire, who talks about doing TM and doing meditation every day, right? Whereas before they couldn't say that because that was like witchcraft, you know? So they couldn't say any of that stuff. They had to keep it to themselves. But there's so much examples of people doing this to me. I don't even understand why anybody would not believe it by now. But one of the things I was doing to help you to remember in the visualization, when I was a realtor, a friend wanted to get an apartment, and he was trying to get a really nice apartment in a really expensive area for really cheap. And I was like, you got the right realtor. because I believe in manifestation, right? Because everybody else would have been like, get your ass out of here. And he's my friend too, so I'm like, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna decide what do you want, and we're gonna make an imaginal scene. See, when you make your imaginal scene, it doesn't have to be like, okay, I see my couch there, and the TV's there, and it has a lake view. It doesn't have to be that. It could be something like what I did. It was just an end where I had an imagination where I saw myself shaking his hand while he was unpacking. That's it. He was unpacking, he was happy, his girl was happy, and I was shaking his hand like, congratulations, and I brought over some wine to them, right? And I kept seeing that visualization for 3 months because it was crazy. We found a place, first of all, we found a place in Lighthouse Point with a lake view, 2-bedroom, and it was like $1,300, which is like crazy now, right? Like, what the hell, right? But it was even crazy back then, right? And so he put in an offer. And there was this long string of events that was happening behind the scenes that I didn't understand until after. But for 3 months, it got accepted. And then for the next 2 months after that, I kept getting messages from the other realtors like, it's dead in the water, it's over. And every time I would get a message like that, I would just close my eyes and I would see myself shaking his hand. I see them unpacking. I can see as clear as day now, the sunlight coming through the back from the lake view. I'm shaking his hand, his girl is in there unpacking, and I'm bringing the bottle of wine, right? And then lo and behold, a couple minutes later, or like a day later one time, they would call back and be like, the deal's back on, right? So finally we move in, right? And I've been doing this visualization for so long, it's kind of like just part of me now. I'm not even really thinking about it. They're moving in, and I go get the wine, not even thinking about the visualization now, get the wine, and I go to the apartment, and I open the door, and he comes to me, sunny day, coming through the back. His girl is moving the stuff, and I shake his hand and give him his thing. And bro, let me tell you, I almost went into tears, because at that moment, I realized that I was visualizing that thing the whole time, And it was so oblivious to them, They didn't realize how much energy I was putting into this to hold this deal together for them. And it was something that I never forgot, because I reminded myself that not only that I can visualize for myself, but I can visualize for other people, and to always remember every time your vision is challenged to reset yourself and see it again, right? That's the work, right? You got to see it again. No matter what's happening, you see it again, right? And then later on, I learned from the person that was in charge of picking that apartment that they had like 30 people send in for that apartment. And she's like, you know how we picked you guys? She's like, we just reached into the pile and picked one out.
Oh, shit.
I was like, what? Crazy, right? So visualization, man. But, like I said, you don't have to see it clearly. You just have to feel it. Everything is about getting to the feeling of what you want. So whether it's visualization or scripting or affirmation or vision board or any other tool you want to use, you can make your own song. You can make a song about whatever you want to do and sing that song every day once it gets you to the feeling. So the third thing we're going to talk about is trust in life. Trust in life is big, right? When you trust life, you say that anything that comes to me is working for my good, right? You can look at something that's hard at the moment, or maybe something you don't want, and say, I don't know why this is here, but I trust that it's working for my good. When you can trust that it's working for your good, two things can happen. Either you don't suffer as much as you're going through it, and then it works out, or it doesn't work out, but you don't suffer as much, right? Or you learn a lesson. And usually that's the most important thing. It's like, it's not here to destroy you. It's not here to harm you. It's not here to block you from your dreams. It's here for you to learn and become a new person, right? So let's say you always getting a cold, you're always getting a cold and you're getting tired. I'm sick and tired of this shit. I'm always getting a cold. If you say everything is working for my good, so how is this working for my good? You'll start getting answers. Things will start coming to you. Oh, you don't eat healthy enough. You need some exercise. Maybe you need some sun. Whatever it is, it's going to start coming to you. Once you start listening to it, you'll become a new person, and that new person won't get sick all the time, right? So that's the thing about trust in life. When you trust it, everything will always teach you something, or it will redirect you to where you need to go. So that's a big thing. And when Shonda Rhimes, Shonda Rhimes wrote a book called My Year of Yes. And also there's a movie. Did you guys ever saw Yes Man?
Yeah.
Yes Man. Do you know that came from a book? It's a real life story. So trust in life, like I said. If you want to just look at everything like everything is always working for my good and you ask those questions, that's going to get you there. That's going to create quantum leaps because you're going to learn the lesson and then you could become a better person and that's going to create a whole new result, right? Quantum leap. But also you can have quantum leaps from total surrender, right? And that's what my year of yes is from Shonda Rhimes. Super successful woman already, right? But she starts saying yes to most things and sometimes yes to no, right? Because sometimes she went to say no to things and she wouldn't say no, so she started saying yes to no, you know? And so if you read that book or just look it up on YouTube, you see so many amazing things happen to her from saying yes, because there's two ways to look at life. You can look at life like everything is hard and working against me, or everything is working for me, right? When you trust life, when you trust that life loves you, God loves you, and everything's working for your good, you can relax. You can float down that river, you know? And that's what saying yes is. That's what that book, that movie Yes Man was, that guy wrote. He's a British dude who he was having a hard time in life, and he just started like telling some random dude on a bus about his hard life. And the guy at the end of his, complaining, he was like, "It sounds like you just need to say yes more." That's what the guy told him. So he's like, "You know what? I'm going to say yes to everything for a specific amount of time." So he decided he's going to say yes to everything. And so what happened the first day he started doing this yes to everything is he was going to work and he got on the train and he was going to the train and he was late. And there was a homeless person asking him for money. And he was like, "Oh, man, I got to say yes to everything. And I'm late for work." So he's like, "All right, let me go get some change." So he goes back to get some change. He goes to the ATM and he gets the money from the ATM. Then he's like, now I gotta go get some change. So now he has to go to a news counter and get a newspaper. And he's like, "Why am I doing all this? I'm already late to work. I'm doing all of this so I can say yes and give this guy some money." So he goes and gets a newspaper. And then he goes back to the guy and he gives him his money. Now he gets on the train. He's like, "Damn, I'm really late for work now." He's going through the paper and he sees a scratch off, scratches it off, wins $25,000 on his first day of saying yes, right? On his first day of saying yes. Now he fucked it up because he continued scratching because he didn't believe it. And he scratched off a part you're not supposed to scratch off and it voided the whole thing, right? But that's a lesson too, right? When something good happens to you, don't believe it's too good to be true and just deny it, right? Obviously use common sense, right? But to an extent, don't just say your good is too good, you know? But to make a long story short, he kept doing that. And out of that whole yes, whatever, how many months he did it, he got a movie with Jim Carrey. He got a book, all this stuff from saying yes. And he had all these wonderful adventures in there. So those two, Shonda Rhimes and him, is an example of trust in life and saying yes. When you can surrender and say, "That's why I'm here. Because I said yes," right? Because I trusted, you know? And when you can trust life and say yes, what happens is that you start to see that life is not out to get you. Life is not trying to destroy you. And in fact, life is trying to help you if you let it, you know? So if anybody wants to try saying yes, this is a rule that I made for myself when I was trying it a few times. You say yes unless it's a hell no. Right? Unless it's a hell no. Somebody comes to you, "Hey, let's murder this person." Hell no, right? But if it's I just don't feel like it, you have to be like, say yes, right? And when I did that, a lot of things happened that I didn't expect would happen. Things open up, things start flowing, and you start enjoying yourself, and you do things that you're like, "Oh my God, I don't want to do it." Then you get there and you're like, "Damn, this was nice," you know? And you would have never got to that place until you said yes. So surrendering is another quantum leap. When you trust life, that's a whole nother quantum leap. And that's one of the most major quantum leaps because it's more effortless than visualizing and being a new person, right? But surrendering is more scary than visualizing and being a new person. Because when you're visualizing and being a new person, you have control. This is who I'm going to be. This is how I'm going to act. This is how I'm going to think. This is what I'm going to visualize. When you surrender, you're like saying, "Okay, what do you want me to do? Where are we going?" You know? And that's a little bit more scary. But like I said, you can help out that fear by saying, if it's a hell no, I'm not going to do it, right? So that's trust in life. And then we're going to move on to the fourth one. We have 6, so we're almost there, which is getting in touch with your intuition. Intuition is super important. Steve Jobs says intuition is very powerful, a very powerful thing, more powerful than the intellect. And Einstein says intuition, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift. These are people that's way smarter than me, and they lived on intuition, right? And intuition, the way I like to explain intuition is between knowing and thinking. So when you are looking for your keys, right? You can't find your keys like, oh, maybe it's here. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's here. And then you're like, oh, I know where it is. That's intuition. You knew where it was before you even got there, right? You are certain. You're just like, you don't even think about it, right? You're not even like, oh yeah, oh my God. No, you just pick it up and go. That's intuition. There's a knowing. So a lot of times we're trying to get to a decision and we're thinking a lot and we can't figure it out. And we're like, maybe it's this. Maybe that's my intuition. Maybe that's, no. Intuition, you will know. It won't be no, I don't know. It'll be a knowing, right? And a lot of times we betray our intuition because we know something and we know we wasn't supposed to do something and then we did it and then the same crap happened that we didn't want to happen and then we get mad. But we're not mad because something bad happened. We're mad because we betrayed ourselves because we knew we wasn't supposed to do it and we did it anyway, right? So intuition will create massive quantum leaps in your life. And a great way to, for you to get in contact with your intuition is to have more peace in your mind. Meditation, relaxation, anything to relax you helps to get you in touch with your intuition. Because just think of intuition kind of like if you're in your room and there's a man called Intuition or a woman called Intuition and it's a party and everybody's yelling and screaming, there's music playing and this person's trying to talk to you, you're not gonna hear them, right? But if the room is calm and the room is quiet and the intuition is right there, you'll hear it clearly. So you want to do as much as you can to relax and clear your mind every day. Like I said, meditation, journaling, mind dumps. When you journal, you can just, when you have a lot of things going on, just write it all out. Yeah, write it all out and burn that paper. If it's something really bad, burn it, right? And that'll make you feel good. I'm telling you, if you never mind dump something on a paper angrily, like big words, and then burnt it, you don't know what life is, man. Burn that thing. It feels so good, And if it's not that angry, you can just crumple it up and throw it away, But I've learned not to keep those things in the journal, right? Because I have some journals, just angry journals. It's like a whole year of angriness. And I'm like, I don't know why I don't want to read my journals. Because it's toxic, So I wouldn't keep them in the journal. I would, if you have angry things, throw it out, burn it or something like that. But there's better ways to journal. So you can also interpret dreams. This is a lot harder to do. But if you're a person that gets a lot of dreams, you can start looking at how to interpret dreams. I've interpreted many dreams. I had like a whole year where I just interpreted dreams and I got many answers to questions and things like that. But if you are getting in contact with your intuition while you're waking, usually you don't have to worry about getting it while you're sleeping. I think a lot of times people get intuitive messages in their sleep and crazy dreams because you're not getting it in your day waking, when you're awake. So life is going to try to give it to you while you sleep. And a lot of times your dreams will be crazy, right? But the crazy thing is not what the intuition is about. I mean, what the guidance is about. The crazy thing is just there to help you remember the dream. So when you wake up, and if you do want to remember your dreams, all you have to do is put a notebook on the side by your bed and write it down every morning. If you don't remember your dreams, you will start remembering it just from doing that. And so once you write it down, a lot of times the crazy part in it, it won't have anything to do with the actual message. It's just there to remind you. So don't be scared when you have these crazy dreams. It's just like an alert to help you to remember. But interpreting dreams is real. I've done it many times and it definitely helps. But like I said, if you're getting it in your waking hours, you're not gonna really have to worry about that. I feel like somebody has a question. Does somebody have a question? No? Okay. So, but intuition also needs a target, right? Just remember, like I said before, if you're stealing cars, you're gonna get great ideas on how to steal more cars, right? right? Whatever you're focusing on is where your intuition goes. Your intuition doesn't care about what you're focused on. It just starts working on what you're focused on. And this brings us back to number one and number two, where you have to be clear on what you do want. That's probably the most important thing of this whole talk today. If you have a quantum leap, you have to focus on what you do want. You have to know what you do want. If you have a lot of negative thoughts and you're always trying to battle negative thoughts, a good thing to do would be to write out all your negative thoughts, because most of the times we have the same negative thoughts over and over and over.
So, what, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So if you have the negative thoughts, wouldn't you put that in the journal and still burn it, or you just want to do a mental thought, just kind of write it down and just, what's the difference between putting it on a piece of paper and a journal?
So,
You have those negative thoughts.
so if you have reoccurring negative thoughts, so like everybody here has reoccurring negative thoughts. We have that one thing that keeps coming back, or the 3 or 5 things that keep coming back over and over and over, right? But then sometimes we have an event that pisses us off, you know? That's the one you put in the journal and burn, right? It's just a one-off, you know, like this is really upsetting me right now. I put it in the journal and I burn that, right? To let it go. You just want to let it go. That's what you're trying to do. But if you're having reoccurring negative thoughts over and over every day, the same thing like that, write it down. Get clear on what you're thinking, right? Don't be afraid of it. Don't resist it. What you resist persists. Write it down, get clear on it, and then figure out what is the opposite. What do I want, right? And then write that on the other side. That's what you want. And now you practice the other side, right? Because you've been practicing the other side, the negative side, for so long, it's automatic. So once you start practicing this, the right side, that's going to become automatic too, right? And you can help it by neutralizing it. So let's say you have a negative thought. Like for me, there's a quantum leap I had when I used to always get overdrafts, right? Horrible with finances. Always get overdrafts all the time. And one day I was sitting there thinking about an overdraft about to come. I didn't even have an overdraft yet. I was thinking about an overdraft about to come. And I realized I'm thinking about an overdraft that's going to come. And I have no reason to have an overdraft right now, but I'm just expecting it. I was like, holy crap. I was like, okay. So then I wrote out all these thoughts that I have about the overdraft and the finances and stuff like that around the banking, not my whole finances, but just that. And then I wrote out what I do want. And then when I thought about that overdraft thing coming up, I would just sit for a little bit, breathe and relax, kind of neutralize it, and then think my new thought, which is, I always have money in my account. It wasn't like a week that I realized I was in an abusive relationship with TD Bank. I was like, why the fuck am I still with TD Bank? Why am I here? And I did some research and I found like a million accounts that have no overdraft fees and things like that. And but they convinced me that I was just horrible at my finances and this is why this happens and you deserve this, And then I was like, no. But as soon as I changed my thoughts, it changed my actions, right? And I changed my thoughts, and then ever since then, I've never had an overdraft ever again, But it was just something as simple as realizing this reoccurring thought that's coming in, and then neutralizing it and replacing it. That's it. It's really simple. It's not always easy, but it's really simple. But you have to be aware, and this is why meditation, I do a meditation class here every Monday at 11:30, but it's really important to do some kind of meditation, some kind of mindfulness, whether it's meditation, whether it's yoga, whether it's walks in nature, whatever it is, because this creates awareness. This creates a gap between you and your thoughts. If you don't have the gap between you and your thoughts, then you are your thoughts. I am angry, I am sad, I am frustrated. When you have the gap from meditation or any kind of mindful practice, then you say, I am feeling angry. I am feeling upset. That's a whole different thing, man. When you are something, you can't change it. When you're feeling something, you can change that, right? That's coming and going, And so you want that gap so that you can see your thoughts, so that you can be aware of, oh, there goes that thought again. Do I want this thought to be creating my life? Do I want to be this person? No. What do I want? And that's why it's very handy to know clearly who you want to be. It has to be clearly, because when you're in the heat of battle of your mind and you realize, I don't like this thought, you need something to replace it. You can't be flutzing around at this moment in time trying to figure out what to say and who am I and what should I, no. It has to be clear as day. Like I always have money in my account. It just goes straight into that immediately, right? I always have money in my, and I say that over and over because I need to reprogram my mind. This program has been running for a while. It's automatic. Repetition, whether it's visualization, whether it's scripting, whether it's affirmations, whatever it is, repetition is what creates a new program, right? As I repeat over and over that same visual scene, as I repeat those affirmations over and over, as I repeat those same physiology, like Tony Robbins stand like this, that is going to start happening automatically, right? We are programming ourselves. Remember, we are not our thoughts, we are not our actions, we are not our feelings, right? We started off as toddlers to kids, to teenagers, to young adults, and older people like me. Those people don't have the same thoughts, but it's still you, right? It's still you. But all them people had different thoughts. This one was thinking about, what I can put in my mouth as a toddler every 2 seconds. And as a teenager, all you're thinking about is, girls and boys, They have different thoughts, but you're the same person, right? So never feel like your thoughts is who you are. Your thoughts are just who you're being right now. And you can take control and reprogram yourself into whoever you want to be. And once you do that, once you become a new person, you get new actions. And once you get new actions, you get new results, right? Quantum leap, right? So intuition, and a great book for intuition is Laura Day. That's kind of like my mentor. I used to go to her classes in New York. Laura Day is she has a book called Practical Intuition, if you want to start working on your intuition. But like I said, the more rest you have, the clearer your mind, the more intuition will pop up. And you just have to remember, it's a knowing. It's a knowing. It's not a thinking. If you're thinking too much, that's not your intuition. It's going to be a knowing. So number 5 is living with gratitude. And what I call it is jazzing. Who's seen Soul, the movie Soul by Pixar? If you didn't see Soul by Pixar, you're missing out, man. It's amazing. And living in gratitude is one of the biggest hacks to a quantum leap. Because when you are happy, not only do you not care about whatever you don't got, but you're also not living in the lack of what you don't get. A lot of the problems with people with manifesting something is because they are so concerned that they don't have it, right? And the whole point of visualizing and affirming and scripting and all that stuff is for you to feel like you do have it, right? You have to have it before you get it. You have to have it in here. When you have it in here, you get it out there. You ever seen them dudes growing up in school that get all the girls?
Yeah.
And then the other person, like me, is trying my ass off and not getting nobody? You look like you got all the girls. Right? There you go right there, right? Right? And you over there trying your hardest to get something, you can't get anything because that guy, he's got it already. It's in here. He's like, I got him, right? He's not trying. He's being, right? I'm trying my ass off. Lack, right? I don't got it. I got to get it. I got to get it to feel like I got it. And that's lack. When you feel like you need something to get something, that means that you're in lack and you don't have it, right? You have to feel like you have it already. That relaxed feeling where like, I got this, I know it's mine, right? Now or eventually. And so when you live in gratitude, you're living in that state all the time. And then you start manifesting things and having quantum leaps without even trying, right? And the crazy thing about it is when you're living in that gratitude, you don't even care. It's like the cherry on top. It's just like, man, I'm just enjoying life. Life is good. Oh, here you go, this free thing. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Where were you yesterday when I was starving, Now I'm all happy and shit. You want to give me free stuff? But when I was starving, you wanted, but that's how it works, Like in the Bible says, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It's not rich because they have money. It's rich in their mind, right? Rich in their heart. They think wealthy, so they get more wealth. You think poverty, you get more poverty. You think in broke ways, you get more broke shit, So you have to be it in here. You have to feel it. And gratitude is a shortcut to all of that. When you can live in gratitude, you constantly are putting out good vibes and you're constantly living in a state of fullness. I have already, which brings you more. And a great resource for gratitude is A Secret has a book called Gratitude. It's The Magic. And that book has gratitude exercise in it for, I think, 28 days. And you just go through all the exercises. And by the end of the process, you're going to have favorite ones in there that you can do every day. But I think the most important time to do gratitude is before you go to sleep and first thing when you wake up in the morning. Whatever you go to sleep with on your mind is like seasoning chicken overnight, right? I'm West Indian, right? This is a religion. You season chicken overnight, right? Because if you don't, it's going to be bland, right? So whatever you're thinking of when the last things before you go to bed are simmering in your subconscious. Think about it like seasoning it, soaking in. This is why they have that old adage, never go to sleep angry, right? You never go to sleep angry because when you wake up, you're going to be even more angry, right? You go to sleep stressed, you wake up even more stressed. So I used to focus on the morning routine a lot with myself and other people, right? Focus on the morning routine because everybody knows how the way you start your day is how your day goes, right? It's a big deal, right? But then I started to realize how you go to sleep is how you wake up. So we need to start with sleeping first. We need to make sure that they're getting good sleep, right? We need to make sure that they have a good nighttime routine. A good nighttime routine trumps a morning routine. Because if you have a nice nighttime routine where you wind down, I don't mean you just came out from the office and you got your phone and you laying in bed and you just fall. That's not a right nighttime routine, man. You got to have a good nighttime routine, disconnect. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now go ahead. No, sorry.
I hear so many times people focus on the morning routine, but never the night routine. That's actually interesting
Yeah.
because some people get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. They have a morning routine,
Mhm.
and you always people say here like, okay, have something written down. Like first thing you get up, like your to-do list.
Mhm.
But why not make a to-do list before you go to bed? When
Yeah.
you wake up, you already have it. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, but
Exactly.
it depends on the person because that's the first time I ever actually heard that. I find it actually interesting.
Yeah. Well, this is
Yeah,
Quantum
nice
Leap class,
routine.
man.
Right. So if you have a nightly routine, like you go to bed at a certain time, like say 10 o'clock,
Mm.
and then when you wake up in the morning, it's like you kind of already have a structure in place.
Yeah.
And it could be whack in the morning, but you know that your structure at night is actually more controlled.
Exactly.
In the morning.
Yeah.
It makes more sense.
And even like I wanted to start waking up early, right? And so immersion. I went to immersion, right? What's that, number 3 or something? I can't remember. Of Quantum Leaps. So I found a book that talked about waking up early, which was The Miracle Morning. And I started reading that book about waking up early. Immersed myself in that, reading that all the time. Within 3 days, I was waking up at 5 in the morning. Quantum leap. From being able, for months, not being able to wake up to, like, what am I doing? What are the tools that I can do to make a quantum leap? I can use immersion. Let me read a book. Because immersion is not just the environment. Whatever you're consuming mentally is your environment, right? So if you're surrounding yourself with junk food TV, that's your environment. Whatever you're consuming, that's your environment. If you start reading about, like I tell my son, like, we're not watching YouTube food things no more because then we just always wanted. We start watching some taco thing on Tuesday. We need some tacos now. Wednesday, we start watching the best pizzas in the world. Well, now we need pizza. I was like, no, we're not doing this no more because anything you binge watch becomes your environment or you binge read or whatever, So you got to be careful about what you're binging on because this is becoming part of your environment. This is going within you. So when I read that book and I binged that book, I was I was excited to get up. I'm reading about this thing about waking up 5 o'clock in the morning, all this. Of course I can't wait to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning now, right? What to focus on, intuition is gonna start working on, you're gonna start getting inspired to do. So nighttime routine, very important. Disconnect from your electronics, have like a journal or something where you start to focus on what you do want. And a great way, like I said, is gratitude. It's actually reviewing your day and picking the things that you're grateful for and also picking the things that you can improve, right? Because if you're visualizing what you do want and you're being a new person, at the end of the day, you're probably going to want to stop and be like, okay, what did I do right and what did I do wrong? What can I improve on, right? That's going to help you be the new person, right? And as you do that every evening, it'll just get better and better. Okay. Yeah, so it's just going to keep getting better and better. So make sure that you have a beautiful nighttime routine. Tea, no coffee, right? Just some tea or something relaxing, maybe some music. maybe a bath, you know, in the tub, you know, whatever it is, a meditation, something beautiful. Give yourself like a beautiful nighttime routine. You deserve it, right? You've been working hard all day. Unwind, get clarity about the day, get clarity about the next morning. When you go to sleep like that, feeling unwind, feeling grateful, feeling like, you know, ready for the next day, you're going to wake up in that manner, right? And then you can have a morning routine too, but just doing it before you go to sleep is way more powerful than just going to sleep all aggravated and mad and shit, and then getting up and being like, okay, now it's time to be positive. Nah, you gotta just do it, start it from before. Let it simmer like seasoned chicken, and then you wake up feeling good, you know? So that's the thing for gratitude. So let's go to the last one, which is consistency. None of this shit works if we're not consistent, right? None of this, right? We can talk about all this stuff. If I'm working out 1 day a week and I'm eating McDonald's 6 days a week, it ain't gonna do much, right? Look at this man here. You keep coming back to the examples, man. Right? You gotta be consistent. Consistency is key. Consistently seeing what you want to see and feeling it. Consistently being that new person. Consistently trusting life. Consistently being grateful. What else did I got in there? I don't even remember the other one. Consistently living in the end, right? And trusting your intuition, owning your intuition. When you're consistently doing these things, and like, you don't have to do all of this. There's gonna be things that stick out to each and every one of you. That's gonna stick out like a sore thumb, and that's the thing that you need to work on, right? But when you work on these things consistently, over and over and over, it's a quantum leap that you will have. But let me explain to you, it's like this bamboo tree. I heard Les Brown talking about it. And it's like a bamboo tree that I think you water it for like 5 years and nothing happens. And then in the 5th year, it shoots up. Just like that, right? This is a real tree, right? I looked it up. And this is how it works with quantum leaps. Like I said in the beginning, what was that definition? Let me see. Quantum leap, a huge, often sudden increase or advance in something. When you're manifesting your dream or something big, it's not going to look like every day I get a little closer. It's going to look like ain't shit happening. That's what it's going to look like. Not a damn thing's happening. Sometimes you may get a little sign here or there, but don't rely on them things because sometimes they're few and far between, right? But when you trust the process and you do it consistently over and over and over and over again, one day it's just like, bam, out of nowhere, like the golfing, right? Out of nowhere, you're just like, what the hell? And so the way you're consistent is 2 things, your why. I wanted to show you a video, but I didn't even set it up. But there's this whole thing from, I can't remember his name, E.T., right? And he talks about Tyson fighting Buster Douglas, right? And he said Tyson was fighting Buster, they had a fight, and at this point, nobody ever beat Tyson, right? Tyson is a big, scary monster, right? And so everybody thought that Buster Douglas was gonna lose, right? Is Buster Douglas, am I right?
Yeah,
He's about, yeah,
right.
right? So they thought he was gonna lose. And so round 2 or 3, whatever, boom, Buster goes down, right? And they're like, damn, it's over. Because nobody has ever gotten up from getting knocked down by Tyson. And this dude stood back up, right? He stood up. And then he beat Tyson. And it was like, what the hell just happened, right? What the hell just happened? And they asked him, like, how did you get up? And he was like, well, I told my mom that I was going to beat Tyson, and my mom just died. That's a big ass why. That's a big ass why, right? Big ass why. I don't give a fuck what happens. If I die here, I'm not going to disappoint my mom. I'm going to get the fuck up back up, right? And that's what you need. You need a why. And usually the strongest why comes from love. It's not usually yourself. Love of your kids, love of your wife, love of your husband, you know, love of your family, your mom, your dad. I got to do this for them, right? It could be for yourself too. I'm not there yet though. I rely on my kids, you know? But love, and the love of his mom made him get back up. And once he knocked out Tyson started getting knocked out all the time because they realized that Tyson's Achilles heel was that he didn't have any stamina. After a few rounds, that was it for Tyson, right? But nobody never made it past those rounds. Because mostly they didn't have a good why. Because once they got knocked down, I'm not getting up for that shit again. Right? I'm not getting up for that again. I can't keep doing that. Right? Who's going to keep doing that? Right? But his why was so big that he got his ass back up. Right? And that's what we got to do in our life, man. When you're being the new person, when you're visualizing, when you're affirming, when you're scripting, when you're walking as the new person, something is going to happen. Something is going to happen to make you feel like that shit is dead. Like that dream is dead. This is not going to work, whatever, things like that. And you have to have a good enough why to make you be like, nah, I'm going back. I'm going to mind dump. I'm going to visualize. I'm going to script. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to meditate, but I'm going to be that new person, right? You have to have a good why. So if you pick something like, I want to manifest being like, on Fiddler on the Roof, just for kicks and giggles, and you don't really care about Fiddler on the Roof, it ain't gonna work. It's gotta be something that you really want, something that you really truly desire. And usually the things that we really truly desire are big and it's scary. And that's why we don't usually go for it. But that's the exact thing you gotta go for. And it's gonna be, and it's not gonna be any skin off your back. That's why I love manifestation. You're not gonna have to worry about like what happens if it doesn't happen. All you gotta do is visualize and be a new person. Be a new person in your mind. Be a new person how you're thinking. Those things are gonna create new actions. You don't have to force or try and make anything happen, right? I'm not telling you to go out there and force yourself to do anything. All you gotta do is rearrange this. Rearrange this and everything starts falling into place, right? That's all you gotta do. So there's no risk here, But it is not going to be easy. You're gonna have times when you're gonna want to quit. And you're gonna have times when you're gonna be like, this is not working. But you have to trust the process, Just trust the process. There's countless people out there, from Oprah to Ray Dalio to Howard Stern to like everybody you can think of that's super successful that says all this shit over and over and over again now, because it's okay to say it now, right? You can look it up. Anybody you look up to, I'm pretty sure they visualize. I'm pretty sure they have a morning routine, maybe not the nighttime routine, but they have the morning routine, all these things. So it works if you do it. So, and the last thing for all of this to help with consistency is not only to have a routine, not only to have a good why, but to have a good routine. So I call it master the day when all my clients, master today, right? All you gotta do is make a plan for today. You can handle today. We can't handle 1 year or 6 months or however long you think it's gonna take to create this thing, but we can handle today. If you can just get up and be who you said you wanted to be today, and that's why the nighttime routine works so well with it, because then you can look at yourself and be like, yeah, I did it, man. And you're pleased with that. You didn't even get what you wanted yet, right? But you're pleased that I was able to be who I wanted to be today. And just like the dude that lost 200 something pounds, and he started with just getting from his bed and walking to his kitchen because that's all he could do. Every day he mastered the day when he did that, right? When he did that walk from here to there, he mastered the day, right? And he was a new person. And he did that every day. And every day he was that new person could do more. And he can walk to the living room. Then he can walk outside, right? He didn't change who he was. He was the same person that's on national TV doing yoga now is the same person that walked from that bed to the kitchen. Same exact person. He just was doing the best he could as that person. You have to remember, when you are the new person, you're just doing the best you can as that person. That's it. You don't have to do whatever you think that person does. You're doing the best you can as that person. And the best he could was walking from the bedroom to the kitchen that day. He mastered that day. A couple weeks from then, he walked to the bedroom, to the living room. He mastered that day. That was the best he could do. And as you keep doing the best you can as that new person every day, day in, day out, you have your plan of what it is to be this new person, and you do that to the best of your ability, it will increase. You'll become that person more and more. It will look different in your thoughts and actions, and it'll expand. And then your outside environment will start to come to match all these things you're doing, and it'll start to steamroll. And then one day, boom, quantum leap, you're way ahead of the game where you expected before. So just remember to master today. You don't have to think about the whole thing. Have your plan backwards. What do you say when you figure out what you want and then you bring it back to see exactly what that's going to look like today? Reverse engineer. There you go. You reverse engineer it to what it looks like today. And you make that your plan for today. And that's it. There was a team, I think it was the Celtics. I can't remember. But they had made it to the finals, I think. And it was like an upset. They weren't that great. Like, it was no superstars on the team. And I'm like, how the hell did you guys make it this far? And the guy said, we just keep doing the right things right. That's it. They did not try to think of winning a championship. They didn't do anything. They decided, okay, what does it look like to win a championship? What does it take to win a championship? We got to get rebounds. We got to pass the ball. We got to get this amount of points. We got to do these things. Okay, now forget about winning a championship. This is what we got to focus on. Just doing those things every game. That's it. He said we just do the right things right every day. And because they just focused on that and did the right things right every day, they got that far. That's all I got for y'all. Thank you.
Hey, this my brother right here, man. He came through with the heat for real, for real. So I appreciate you guys coming out. But before we leave, we're gonna have some interactions. So I want to know what you guys got from today that you guys are gonna apply tonight or tomorrow morning, because this is what it's about. It's about action. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really do the talking. We about action here. So that's what we're here for. Choose to create.
And if you have any questions too, you can ask your
Yeah,
questions.
so y'all can do questions too. So either you're gonna let me know what you got from today or a question from today. You feel me? That you can apply for tonight or tomorrow morning. All right.
All right.
So let's start from the left side over here. Brother Jay. Brother Jay, you gonna start off with your name and either the main thing that you got away from that you're gonna take away from today and apply tonight or tomorrow morning, or a question on something that you need answered so you can apply today or tomorrow morning.
I'm gonna do my best. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jay. I'm a teacher at Turner Tech, construction teacher, and I own my own personal business for set designing, production, and I think Mark had a lot of things to say, which I was impressed. I think what got me was the nighttime routine, because you hear a lot of times people focus in the morning, but never focus on the night. I think that's amazing. So that was the biggest tool or something I will actually do. I always manifest. Journaling is kind of my thing anyway, but I do like the idea of you have the bad thoughts, you burn it. So I think that's, but the question I have for Mark though, how do you balance from a yes to a no? Because you know, if you commit to something with a yes, but then somebody may ask you something that you might not want to do. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
Give all that energy towards, like, say if you
What do
have
you
a
mean, saying yes to
project-
everything? Or you
Yeah,
talking?
yeah. So you know how you said before that, yeah, you say yes to certain things,
Yeah.
but how do you balance? I guess you just say yes to all of it, but how do you know that when you say no to certain things that you don't want to put your energy to?
Oh, well, if you're doing the surrender experiment, you want to trust life, I would say do it for a short period of time. Let's say like 2 weeks, you know, because it's a lot, right? Maybe a week, you know, maybe 3 days, you know, and you just say yes to everything. It's just an exercise to see how life is actually trying to help you. And when you surrender, it's scary, but when you do it, like, you get these crazy results and it's kind of exciting because you're like, okay, what's going to be the first thing I have to say yes to, you know? And something always comes up and you're like, oh shit, that's the first thing. So if you do that for like a few days or a couple weeks, you say yes to everything unless it's a hell no. You know what your hell no's are, you know? If it's a hell no, then it's a hell no, that's a no. But if it's not a hell no, if it's like, oh, no, that's a yes, right?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to balance between two. But it was great, man. Thank you, bro.
Oh, you're welcome.
Appreciate you coming out here, man. For real.
Yeah.
Let's start over here from Malik. My boy Malik over here.
What's up, everybody? I'm Malik Mayweather. I'm a realtor, and I'm also a videographer and editor. So, I guess the thing today is also the nighttime routine. I mean, it's just like you said, intuition is a thing that you just know it. And lot of what you said has been going through my mind, like certain things I just been feeling, and just like I need to do that or I need to do that.
Mhm.
And the night thing really resonated with me, because just last night I was like, okay, I got all this stuff to do and all these things I'm thinking about. And I tried to write some of them down, but I didn't pretty much get it all out. I was like, I need to try to go to sleep. I woke up and the first thing I did, iPad, get these other notes instead of doing that, so I can wake up the next day and actually write about this and master the day, master the day. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm applying literally tomorrow. Like,
Master today.
what do I have to do today?
Yeah.
Because when you're ambitious and you do a lot of things and you say that yes to a lot of things, like you said, you have a lot on your plate,
Yeah.
and it's like it can be overwhelming because you know kind of where you want to be.
Yeah.
But if you just say, all right, cool, boom, this is all I gotta do.
Yeah.
And I'm getting into my nighttime routine and y'all leave me alone. That's a lot easier. So I'm
That's great.
looking at that and be,
Yeah, that's good.
That's it, man.
Like that.
Appreciate you, bro. For real. Derek, what's up? Holla at me.
What's going on, guys? I'm Derek. I work with the Content Factory. I'm a producer, photographer, do a lot of like events and like also some like real estate photography, that sort of thing. And a lot of what you were talking about, like I've kind of been on this journey myself since like, I don't know, maybe like 2011. I started like practicing TM just because my mind gets like pretty scatterbrained and stuff like that. So like a lot of it was really like positive reinforcement, but for me, like one thing that I think I could really take away is like with scripting, like I'll go into like phases where like I'll journal a little bit, and I think that it definitely helps me when I'm doing it. But like I really like what you said about writing down like exactly what you want and then changing it to like I already have this, because like I've read The Secret and stuff like that, and I think that's a good book. If anyone ever wants to like borrow it, like you're welcome to get my copy or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I think that like getting into like that consistent routine where it's just like this is what I want, and and I think that that's something that I want to do. I know everyone's been doing the nighttime, like I'm gonna implement that starting at that time.
Yeah.
The morning you wake up and you're all flustered.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You gotta just like
Go.
And and it's gonna simmer. It's gonna simmer in your subconscious if you do it.
yeah.
That's a juicy time to do it.
Yes,
Exactly.
sir.
Yeah.
That's
All
what I
right.
said.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And now I'm just go right here.
Okay.
Kyla Thorpe.
Hi, I'm Kyla. What I got from today is I need to write my dreams down. I have a lot of dreams and I just let them float around. I forget about them. I'm gonna actually write them down, journal them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what I got.
Oh,
As if it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
we
right.
got some. We got some. My brother right here.
First off, we met with Edgar.
Yeah, we met some.
Okay.
We was out
Perfect.
there.
Because at first I seen you when I walked in, I was like, bro.
That's my dog.
Yeah.
We here.
All right. My name is Peter Lang. I'm a director and filmmaker. Really leaping into that currently. So this is very serendipitous that this is what we're speaking on tonight.
Yeah.
I kind of had a question, but
Let's go with the question.
But I know the answer. This is intuition. Right? So the intuition I can just share on it, which is that trusting the process and kind of surrendering to it. I'm in a space where I'm working a job that is giving me the necessaries, but boy, do I want to jump off of that building. I want to go, So like, I'm kind of currently in a space of like, I've already told myself the opportunity will present itself, and I know I will know when it's time to go. And I think I already know. That's why I was like, it's not really a question,
that's
it's an
right.
intuition thing.
You already
But it was
know.
so funny that you said it because I've still been kind of teetering back and forth with it, where it's like,
But you know, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not thinking, you know, but sometimes, a lot of times you'll know, but you're like, oh, no, I don't want to know this. Because
Yeah.
you don't want to accept that answer, but you know it. You
Yeah.
know it's true, for good or for bad. So many of my female friends, they were like, what do you think about this guy? You know about that guy.
this is
You already know. Come on.
You are the facts.
You already know. Just the fact you asking me that question means you already know, but you just don't want to know. So just trust your knowing.
100,000%. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to say, we do the right things right. That
Yeah.
also really hit for me tonight. So
Yeah.
just kind of remaining focused on, today, but what needs to get done, and just do what you need done right. You don't gotta be fancy and
Yeah.
just
Master
get what
today.
you need.
Yeah.
What you need, get it done. So I
Exactly.
really appreciate that.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. X, let's get it. Hey.
Hello, my name is Xavier. I'm a photographer and a videographer. And I wanted to say that 3 things that you said tonight, actually I do implement, and that will be the night routines, consistency, and
Right.
changing your environment.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing out of that was changing your environment, because I could confidently say that I was around bad people. Like I wasn't necessarily doing bad things, but
Still in
they
the
were.
cars.
No, definitely not stealing cars. Not stealing
We
cars.
found them.
But being able to
Honesty is
find like,
important, man.
no, I'm being serious. I'm not stealing cars.
Run this guy's
But
over.
being able to find like RJ and Raul and being able to do more photography and videography really helped me stay focused, and it made me learn different things, which was the night routine. Like when I like take a shower, and after that I don't really get on my device. The only thing I do is I take my iPad, I write down what I gotta do for the next day, and I go to sleep. I don't think about anything else, and anything bad that happened that day, I just cut it out.
Wow.
And
How old are you?
oh, I'm 18.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we got some legends.
yeah, all right. I wasn't doing nothing like that at 18.
We got some legends up in here.
That's
why you
amazing.
Content Factory,
Yeah.
man. You know what I
It's
mean?
amazing.
And then after that, usually I wake up either 5 or 6 in the morning, and
Wow.
I do what I gotta do.
Wow.
And most of the time I start out with like a jog, and then I just do different things. Like I gotta go to college, and then I gotta help out my mom with different things and stuff like that.
My dog.
That's amazing, man.
gotta
I
get
like
on the
that. I
running
like that. I
routine
like
too,
that.
my boy. Appreciate you, man.
Oh,
Appreciate you.
wait, one more thing.
Uh,
I will say my takeaway was the Yes Man experiment.
Oh, you want
Like,
to try that?
I'm thinking about trying it, because that sounds.
Man, if
that sounds
anybody tries
really
that, please
serious.
follow me on Instagram. I got a low-key Instagram. You ain't gonna be competing with anybody else to write me, right? So, but if you do the experiment, I want to know, man. I think it's such a fun experiment. When I read that book and when I learned that whole thing, I tried it for myself because I was so excited and scared to death because I was like, what is it that is gonna be the first thing I have to say yes to? And it's always some shit where I have to drive a long way to Miami.
Hey, brother man, I appreciate you coming out tonight. But you come on over here. Come on over here. I see you in the cut. Man. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you too.
Yes, sir. So your name and what do you take away from today, and if you have a question, go ahead and ask.
My name is Jonas. I missed the beginning, unfortunately. But my main takeaway was the example that you gave that showed that we are not our thoughts. So that was really, I think that was eye-opening in a way. Because
Yeah.
the example that you gave, that from when we were kids to
Yeah.
old person,
Yeah.
the person says the same, but the thoughts
It's
change
dramatically
so
different.
much,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that was my
Yeah.
main takeaway, I would say.
Okay, that's a big deal because when we think we are our thoughts, then we can't change. And that's one of the hardest things because sometimes we don't like things about ourselves, right? And if we don't like this part of ourselves, we're like, well, that's just the way I am. How many times have you heard that before, right? That's just the way I am. It's not the way you are. It's a practice way from your environment or something else that got practiced within you and became habitual. And when you realize you're not your thoughts, then you realize that means I can choose any person I want to be. I can be a new person. But the thing is that you have to be very clear on who this new person is, and then you have to practice that person until it becomes habitual. And eventually, just like when I was younger and I got the 6-pack when I was looking like you, right? And I grew up chubby, right? I was a chubby kid. I had chubby thoughts, right? I had chubby imaginations, you know? And then when I got fit like him, and not only did I get fit, I was eating clean, right? I was like, man, I'm a new person. And I wasn't practicing this stuff yet, so I didn't understand what I was saying. But people literally say that, right? When they get fit or whatever big change, they'll be like, I am a new person. And they don't really understand how new a person they really are, you know? They change their whole way of thinking. The way that chubby young Mark walked into, life It's not the way that fit six-pack Mark walked into life. I had a whole different thought process, just like you have a whole different thought process. Like if I wanted to look like him, if I just start picking his brain, like, what do you think about this? When this faces you, what do you think about that? He's gonna start telling me, like, yeah, well, if I don't feel like working out, I just go anyway. You know, or something like that, right? Yeah, if I want something to eat, that's fine, but I can't do it all the time. Whatever it is, he's gonna have a whole line of stories in his head about this way of being. And if you just adopt his way of being, you're gonna start getting the actions that he's doing too. It's gonna come automatically. So,
The results.
yeah, and you'll get the results.
Hey man, appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah.
I see you was working, but you just like, man, it's good over here. It's good over here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Brother man right here, I see you came through late, but I do appreciate you being here. You could have been anywhere in the world.
I'm here because of my girlfriend, but nice to meet you.
Oh, shit, I thought you was here because of me. God damn. It's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you, bro.
They accepted me late here and just kind of listening and taking off.
So, what you got something for today? I know you're here for your girl.
If you want to
Yeah,
read
so
more
what's
about
one
that,
thing
if
gonna
you want to
take?
learn more about that, you know Tony Robbins?
Right now, I'm in
Yeah.
this
You ever read any of his book?
Okay.
I think I listened to
Cool.
one
Well, I'll
of
take that.
Yeah, Unleash the Power Within is a good one. I feel like it would be like help you to go into that because he helps you to refrain the way you're thinking and stuff like that. So you may want to check if you want to learn more about that. That might be a good resource for you.
So when you mentioned the Say Yes Man book,
Yeah.
I downloaded it on all the
Oh, you did?
Right when you said that, yeah. So I will do that.
I like that.
Surrounded by other people
What's
like
that?
saying like, oh, meditate or this or that. So it's like so reassuring and so it's like a warm hug, like being surrounded by people who have like routines and take time to meditate and visualize. Because this is what I've learned relatively recently, but also like I teach it to some of my businesses that I work with, and it's like just nice to be like, ah, yes, I am either teaching the right thing or I need to get back on the like horse about like some of these things because I haven't meditated in a while and I haven't like done like some visualizations that I should be.
Yeah.
So it's just a really nice reminder to
Oh, that's nice.
always get back back on it. You know?
So meditation and environment is what stuck out to you?
yeah.
Okay,
Definitely. Yeah,
that's
thank
good.
you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh. Ab, holla at me, bro.
Yeah.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Abdul. Filmmaker, director, producer, writer.
Kind of a big deal out here in the
Something
street.
like that.
Come on.
Let's go. I think what would be my greatest takeaway from tonight would be, of course, managing the day or tackling the day or whatever.
Master today, yeah.
That's my
Reason
shit.
why is
Yeah.
because I've been trying to focus on being present more.
Mhm.
And understanding that, I only can control what I see in front of me,
Yeah.
or what I'm currently involved with. And the reason why it's so important is because my mind tends to drift so much.
Mhm.
I get lost in my own thoughts a lot. I'm sure everybody can relate.
Yeah.
So having that is like a key factor in life for me is what's gonna get me closer and closer to my dream. And then I guess the second thing is like that's the seed, right? So the second thing is like understanding that greatness is within me and that no dream is too big. So by mastering the day, I'm then able to say that, I'm one step closer to achieving greatness.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like
And a good thing to do for in the master today in your plan is to regular meditation. So even if it's only 5 minutes, like if you do 5 minutes 3 times a day, think of meditation like a shower for your brain, right? Like if you are working all, you're gonna get a lot of intuitive messages on how not to fail, on failure, If you focus on how to succeed, like Tony Robbins talks about, like you ask stupid questions, you get stupid answers, right? You ask good questions, you get good answers. So if you say, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep doing this? Well, you're lazy, you're an idiot. That's what's gonna come back to you, right? But if you say, how can I be better? How can I accomplish this? You're gonna get answers too. Whatever your target, your intuition needs a target, right? When you focus it with questions and when you focus it with affirmations, it will provide the answer for those things. So you want to make sure you're always asking really good questions and speaking really well. Like I remember there was a time when my cell phone kept getting turned off because I had financial problems. And I was like, okay, I got to stop saying my cell phone is being cut off. So what can I say? Because somebody called me after it was just cut off and it was a few days and they're like, man, was your phone cut off again? I was like, it was temporarily not on. Right? Because I was trying to focus on what I do want. And I got to tell you right now, it never got cut off again. I just kept saying, when it went off, it's temporarily not on yet, right? But because whatever you focus on, you really start getting ideas in that direction. So one of the ways that I help to, with any of my clients to get in contact with their intuition is they go to journaling and ask a question. If you need to find an answer, you need to know where to get answers, right? And so it can be different for different people. But for me and for most people, journaling works. So you just go and you write down your question. A good question, not what's wrong with me. How can I get better? What do I need to do? You know, something, whatever it is. And then you ask that question and you leave it alone. You don't sit there and try and figure it out. You leave it alone and you go about your day and you check back on that question maybe another time for the day, maybe the next day, but you keep checking that question or keep writing it over every day until the answer comes. The answer will come. And a lot of times the answer will come and you'll just do it and you'll forget about it. So I like to write the answer in. So even though I might have solved the whole thing because I got the answer, I always go back and write the answer so that when I go through my journal, I remember that I always get answers to the questions that I write, you know? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate
And Javon, let me tell you something.
Oh, my dog Javon, you ain't say nothing today, right?
You ain't called me.
Oh, my dog Javon, you gotta say something on before you go in.
I gotta
Javon,
tell.
talk to me.
So I was
Before you all
so
black.
excited to get to me, RJ.
Oh, man.
So I always told you I was visualizing. I wasn't joking, right? I was visualizing myself doing this and having fun and feeling comfortable because I felt a little nervous, right? But I understand that feeling fear or nervous or whatever is just an emotion that can be released, right? So I release it and then I focus on what I do want, which is me having fun, enjoying this, and it went really well, right? Just kept doing that over and over. And for some damn reason, every time I visualize this being fun and think, you was the only person I would see in the audience. I don't know what the hell that was about. It's you. And I haven't seen him in a long time, so it was random as hell, you know?
And he's here.
Yeah, and you're here.
I literally called him like an hour before this started. I was like, hey, bro.
Yeah.
Get off that boat. I know you're on the yacht. I know you're on the yacht, but pull up, man. So yeah, man, talk to me, man. Let us know what's the one thing you got away from this session today.
I mean, it was more of a reminder than anything else because I study a lot of this stuff already. I've already done that 28-day kind of like yes challenge already.
Oh, you did?
And since doing it, it got me into some pretty crazy situations. So my introverted ass usually likes to stay home.
Yeah.
Or like right after a shoot, go home and not talk to anybody. But the world just opens up when you start saying yes to stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, when I did it, when I first came down here, I hadn't been to a strip club.
Into the whole meditation stuff and all of that. I'm not into everything, but I'm open to it. And having somebody that could guide you and walk with you and kind of talk with you through the whole process is super valuable. So definitely you guys follow him on Instagram, Manifesting with Mark. If you guys want any coaching or any you need any guidance with that, holla at a coach. You know, like when I was working on my business and COVID happened and everything shut down, I didn't know what was happening. I had a business coach, you know, and that's how we got Content Factory now, and that's how we collaborate with my boy Allison South. You dig what I'm saying? So many opportunities happen from like just finding a coach, locking in, and just doing the work. Because I mean, you could sign up for a course online, you could get a coach, but if you ain't doing the work, I mean, it is what it is. You get what you put in. So, man, shout out to Mark, man. Put it up for my brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So y'all make sure y'all follow us online, Choose to Create Academy and Manifesting with Mark. Make sure you guys follow him online. Right now we are in the finishing hours. So what I want you guys to do is definitely network, at least connect with 2 people and follow up. You know, we here, that's what Choose to Create is. I know it's a creative, it's all for creative professionals, entrepreneurs, but I feel like this is a great foundation to be able to like get that clarity to create, right? So definitely appreciate you guys. Shout out to y'all for coming through, man. Y'all could be anywhere in the world. Y'all here with me, and I definitely, truly appreciate that. For real, for real.
Yeah,
So,
I just want to say thank you to all y'all before you go. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate your energy. You know, like it takes a lot to get out and come to some place, you know, when you can just get online and do everything. So I really appreciate every single one of you for being here today. And I want to let you know to be kind to yourself. Everybody in here is a hustler. Everybody in here is doing something, working on themselves. You're going to be working on yourself forever. It's not going to end. There's no finish line, right? So be kind to yourself and be patient to yourself. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a little kid. You don't look at a little kid and be like, what the hell is wrong with you? You ain't finished that yet? You don't talk to a little kid like that, right? You talk to your little kid, you talk to yourself, you're doing a good job, you'll do better tomorrow. You didn't master today, you was like a slave, but that's okay. You're gonna master tomorrow. You know, just talk to yourself kindly and patiently, because the way you talk to yourself is the motivation you're giving yourself, right? You're your own motivator. When you talk kindly to yourself, you get great results. When you're shitty to yourself, you get shitty results, right? So that's it.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's go. Now get your networking, get them cards.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you. All right, thank you, bro. Yeah.
Brother, good to see you, fam.
I gotta get some.
How you been?
I'm thirsty as hell, man. Yeah.
Thank you so much for everything.
Yeah, no problem.
Early stages.
Come with me. I want